Voidmage Gamer is now partnered with Flipside Gaming, so you can use the promo code on their website, all caps, Voidmage, to get 10% off all orders $10 or more. It's a great way that you can support both Flipside Gaming and Voidmage Gamer's channel. Hello guys, welcome back to another Top 10 Commander video, going back to the guilds. This time we're going to take a look at Selesnya, the 10 best cards post Ravnica Allegiance, so anything after that is unknown to me as of the making of this video. Selesnya is a pretty good color combination in Commander because you have a lot of protection, you have hexproof, and you also have some pretty good token strategies combined with a lot of good artifact and enchantment removal. And Selesnya is not afraid to go big either. You're going to see some pretty impressive creatures. As far as honorable mentions go, I mean, throw a dart. You have a ton of awesome commander options that are probably going to be left off of this video just because they got beat out by even better ones. You have the cat commanders and Arabo, you have Nazan, and you also have the token commanders and Tristani and Risk the Redeemed. Those are also commanders that have seen a ton of play and are some of the most popular that the guild has to offer. But Selesnya does have some good non-legendary creature cards in here. It has some enchantments, has some removal spells. We're going to talk more about those in this video. But let's start it off here with number 10, which is a legendary creature, Sigarda, Host of Herons. A huge bonus with legendary creatures is that they're not just good commander options, but they're just good creatures in general. Sigarda is one of those, a really good example of that. And what I mentioned before with Selesnya being really good with protection, hexproof here, so you're not going to hit her with targeted removal. But the reason that Sigarda really stands out is that she stops one of the most annoying things that can ruin your whole game, and that is going up against Grave Pact effects, Fleshbag Marauders, anything that forces you to sacrifice creatures. She's actually a pretty underrated Voltron option for that reason alone, because most Voltron decks struggle significantly under that kind of pressure. So having a built-in way to stop your opponents from sacrificing your stuff is just insane. This combined with the fact that she's a decent value creature, decent stats, good keywords, overall a pretty powerful creature in Selesnya, decent as one of the 99 or as a commander. Number 9, we have Sterling Grove, gonna protect all of your other enchantments. But this time it is going to be Shroud, so technically you can't target your other enchantments as well. But this is just going to serve as a protection. If you're a heavy enchantment deck, which a lot of Selesnya decks are, you have the Enchantress theme, a strategy where you just want to draw cards off of your enchantments being cast or entering the battlefield. Anything that can target and destroy your enchantments is going to be trouble for you. But it doesn't just end there. You have a pretty efficiently costed spell and an ability where you can sacrifice it for 1 mana and then search your library for another enchantment and put it on top of your library. Only 2 mana to get it out there, and it's protection for your other enchantments. And if your opponent has some kind of wrath for enchantments, then you can just sacrifice it and search up something else, and then hopefully you can stabilize. Sterling Grove is just a very good protection card, a little bit lower on the list because enchantment decks aren't going to be as common as some of the other strategies I mentioned in this video, but still one of the most powerful cards on this list because it's protection combined with a tutor. Really good card. And then number 8, we have Miri Weatherlight Duelist. This was from Commander 2017. The only cat commander out of those few that I felt like you could throw it into a lot of decks and not just look at it as a commander option. Miri is just great for what you want to do in Selesnya. You're also going to focus on controlling combat. When she attacks, each opponent can't block with more than 1 creature, and as long as she's tapped, no more than 1 creature can attack you each combat. So overall, if you have the presence in combat, your opponents are going to be challenged with defending against you. They're also going to be challenged with finding a creature that's worthy enough to attack you all by itself. So ultimately what she is kind of in the same category as things like Ghostly Prison, while also having the added benefit of helping you out on combat. That's how I view her, at least. She's a very cheap, efficient creature to throw out there, kind of like those cards. So if you do want to have a Pillow Fort strategy, go for it. She's also pretty good in combat. So versatile creature, definitely deserved a spot on this list. In number 7, we have one of my personal favorite commander options, Karametra, God of Harvest. This is a deck that you want to build that is all about lands, getting land drops whenever you cast creatures. Let's say you have things like Farhaven Elf, Wood Elves, creatures that already get you lands from your deck. You're just getting 2 lands per one of these creatures. All you really need are good mana sinks, X-costed spells, maybe a Genesis Wave, because the deck is crazy. It's so easy to get a ton of lands. It's almost one of those decks where you just want to play nothing but basic forests and plains just to ensure you always have something to search for, because I have had games where I've actually run out of lands. Such a fun deck. Kind of like the other gods from Theros, Born of the Gods, and Journey into Nyx, they're extremely powerful as creatures, and that's their strength. They're valuable as one of the 99. This one, however, I think is very good as a commander. In the number 6, we have a card that has only been getting better, especially since Planeswalkers are now legendary. Being able to search up any legendary card from your deck, put it into your hand in a format where tutors are strong, legendary creatures that may be too expensive for other formats. Those are more practical if you can just search them up with Captain Sisay, and that's really all that needs to be said about her. She makes a pretty fun commander because you can just fill your deck with legendary cards. This includes lands, and like I just mentioned, Planeswalkers are also searchable, so just think about that. You could get your Ugin, you could get an Elspeth. Some of the most powerful cards in the format just happen to be legendary. You have the Praetors that you could search up in Vorinclex or Elesh Norn, so you could definitely get some pretty powerful plays off of this card if you decide to search with her, which again, tutoring is very powerful in the format. Number 5, we have Sylvan Reclamation. Now this is basically a return to dust. It costs 1 more, it's in 2 colors, and you also have basic land cycling. It's not as restricted. You could also argue that Crush Contraband is slightly better because you could hit 2 things for 1 and only costs 4 mana, and it's only in white. But this, you kind of get the best of both worlds. You can hit 2 artifacts if you really want to hit 2 artifacts. You could hit 2 enchantments if that's all you can do. It's a 2 for 1, and 2 for 1s are very popular as far as removal goes in the format. Usually people can deal with creatures. Once you start talking about enchantments and artifacts, it gets a little bit harder. So it does help if you can get a 2 for 1 because you do have multiple opponents to have to worry about. The added benefit here, it's probably an afterthought, but the basic land cycling is there. If it's your opening hand and you've had the misfortune of drawing nothing but non-land cards, you do have the ability, if you have 2 mana at least, to go and get a basic land. It's not that much, but it's something, I guess. Very good card. I play it in just about every single deck that's in Selesnya or more. Number 4 is Mirari's Wake. Now, Cage Sun is pretty good, but that's only really good if you're in just one color to take advantage of it the most. But with Mirari's Wake, you have the advantage of throwing it into multicolored decks, especially 5-color decks where it's not the easiest to ramp. You're going to be giving up the ability to get the colors that you need because a lot of mana ramp just happens to be colorless. This allows you to double the mana of whatever land you want to tap, and you get another mana of that type, which is extremely useful. So if you tap your command tower for something like white, you get a white. Want to tap your steam vents for red, it's going to get you another red. So it's not restricted like a Cage Sun. Pretty simple, but it gets the job done. Very good enchantment. Number 3, we have Privileged Position. Now, like I said at the beginning, protection like Hexproof and Shroud is pretty common in Selesnya. Privileged Position is probably the best you can get. All of your other permanents are going to have Hexproof. Ton of targeted removal, a ton of things that require targets. Not being able to target those permanents before they have to target this one is a problem. And Privileged Position goes well in enchantment decks. It goes well in decks where you want to play control. Maybe you don't want to have to waste as many counterspells. Just setting up a line of defense is very good. And in a multiplayer game where you can face multiple threats, you do need stuff like this. And then number 2, we have Aura Shards. Selesnya has some really good artifact and enchantment removal. This card is just insane. It works on creature ETBs. So if you're familiar with the card Reclamation Sage, this is basically going to turn whatever creature you have enter the battlefield into a Reclamation Sage in addition to whatever else it is. This goes for whatever tokens you can make. Any creature that enters the battlefield, you're going to hit stuff. And in certain decks, this might as well just read whatever enchantments and artifacts your opponents have. They're going to be gone. And the problem with a lot of removal is that you don't just want to waste it on things like a Soul Ring unless you absolutely have to. With this, you have the luxury of being a little reckless. You can start hitting things you probably normally wouldn't with something like a Sylvan Reclamation where you only have 2 targets. You're probably not going to get to cast it again. Getting multiple creatures out there means that you can start hitting things like the Signets, things you probably wouldn't target with anything else. And that's just going to make it very painful for your opponents. And then we have what I believe is number 1, and I still believe this is number 1 for Selesnya in my previous videos. Eladamri's Call. It's just a 2-mana instant speed tutor for whatever creature you want in your deck. Now, tutors are very powerful. This is instant speed for just 2 mana and it puts the card right into your hand. So it is significantly better than Worldly Tutor if you're in the colors to play it. Most of the time, you're just going to forget about Worldly Tutor because it doesn't just put it on the top of your deck. Whatever creature you're in desperate need of, it puts it right into your hand at instant speed. You can do it at your opponent's end step so you don't have to waste any mana on your turn. But this is exactly what makes Commander the format that it is. You have a singleton deck, a ton of answers, but you don't always have the guarantee of drawing into exactly what you want. Tutors make it so that you can search up your powerful spells, your answers, and sometimes those answers are creatures. So taking advantage of how well you built your deck, it just makes the tutors even better. So these are some of the best cards that Commander has to offer. So definitely the Selesnya colored Tutor Eladamri's Call is #1 in my book. But you guys let me know what you think about the top 10 Selesnya cards in Commander. What are your favorites? You all let me know in the comment section below. Have a wonderful day. Void here signing off. See you all next video.